Welcome back, friends and family. Welcome to the writing paper of the FCE exam, the first certificate of English exam from Cambridge. So, we're going to look specifically at the writing paper today. Okay, now here is a quick overview. Now, the writing paper consists of 20% of your overall score, your overall marks. Now, you have 80 minutes to complete part 1 and part 2. Because the writing, you've got 2 parts to do to complete the overall paper. Now, some basic questions. How long do we have to complete the overall writing paper? Well, you have 80 minutes to complete both parts, because part 1 is an essay. Part 2, you have an option. You can choose a specific type of writing you want to do. Okay, so you have 80 minutes to do both. How many parts are there? There are 2 parts. What is writing part 1? It is an essay. Always, it's an essay. How much time do you have to write the essay? And how many words do you need to write? You have 40 minutes to write the essay, and you have to write from 140 or between 140 and 190 words. And what about writing part 2? Okay, so in writing part 2, so first of all, in Cambridge, you've got a lot of different types of writing. You've got the essay, which we just spoke about, and in writing part 2, they give you 3 options. You have to choose one of those 3 options, and you have to write about that option. So the options are 3, but these 3 options are randomly chosen from the following writing styles: review, article, report, email, or letter. Okay, so you will normally get 3 of those ones I just mentioned, and you have to choose which one you want to do. And you will have 40 minutes to do that, and you have to write between 140 and 190 words. So that's a quick overview. Let's continue. So you have 40 minutes to do each part, regardless of the type of writing that you have to do. Now, it is extremely important to follow this timeline. No exceptions. This is not an option. Do this. Okay? So you have to take 5 minutes and you have to plan your writing. You can write then for 30 minutes. And you have to take 5 minutes to check your writing. So, wow, I know that students don't like planning. They don't like planning writings. They just go for it and they start writing. That you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, if you gave me 2 essays, I can clearly see which one planned and which one didn't. It's so obvious. Imagine an examiner correcting 20, 30, 100 essays. That's all they do. They do that all day long. Okay? And it's easy to see if someone hasn't planned. If you plan, you will get a higher score. If you don't plan, you will not get as high a score as you should be getting. That's almost a fact. Okay? So take 5 minutes, plan, then you write for 30 minutes. And then after, you have to check. And very important, when you check your writing, your mind is biased to you. You are not looking at the English objectively, because it's your English. You want it to be perfect. So your brain and your mind will see things that are perfect when they are not perfect. So when you look at, and when you check your writing after you've written it, clear your mind, forget that it's your writing. You are looking at a piece of English, and that's what you have to focus on, only the English. Imagine your friend wrote it. Forget that it's yours. That is a better way of trying to analyze and check a writing. Because if it's yours, you're not going to see all the options. So you have to trick your mind into believing it's not yours. Okay, and just focus on the English. Don't focus on your English. Focus on the English you have in front of you. All right. So let's look at the criteria. What do they assess? Okay, there are four major areas: the content, communicative achievement, the organization, and the language. Okay, so the content, this focuses on how well the candidate has fulfilled the task. In other words, if they have done what they were asked to do. Basically, did you answer the question? They give you a question, it's there, it's written on paper. If they ask you to agree or disagree of whether education should be free or not, and you talk about football or you talk about the Olympics, that's irrelevant. And if you don't say I agree, if you don't give your answer, you don't answer the question. Okay, so this is task achievement. You have to be able to fulfill the task. When you look at the question, look at the different things they ask you to do, and when you check, make sure that you've answered everything. Communicative achievement. This focuses on how appropriate the writing is for the task and whether the candidate has used the appropriate register. Okay, so if you are writing a report, then you're not going to use words like, for example, gotcha, or we gotta get more customers. Gotta? No, no, no. You can't use words like that in formal. So you either have formal tone or you have semi-informal, but never informal. Okay? So you can have a friendly tone, which is maybe better for a magazine or an article. And then you would need a more formal tone for example, your essay. Your essay is always going to be formal. Okay, so you have to have the correct tone depending on who the reader is. Who is the reader? The Cambridge examiner? No, that's not the reader. The reader is the person in the question who you are writing to. It could be the CEO of a hotel, for example. It could be your boss. These are the people that are going to read your writings. Remember that, not the Cambridge examiner. Okay, so yeah, well, you understand what I mean. Yeah, they are, but your tone has to fit the person you're writing to. Organization. This focuses on the way the candidate puts together the piece of writing. In other words, if it is logical and ordered. So there is a special way that you need to write out a report. And it's a different way as opposed to writing out an article or a review. There are different structures we use. Depending on the type of writing that you have to do or that you do, you have to apply a specific structure. Okay, and we're going to look at all these different structures. And then language, obviously, your English. This focuses on vocabulary and grammar. It includes the range of language as well as how accurate it is. Grammar, paraphrasing, linkers. We will look at all these different things that you need to incorporate into your writing. Okay, friends and family. So in the next video, we're going to look at part number 1, how to write an essay. Okay, so get ready because here we go.